Hello, everyone. I'm coming to you on a Saturday, and it's the Navajo Fair, and I hope that all of you are there. And I wish I was there too. So I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to make two little videos before I go. I'm going to go over there for a little bit. The first is I want to talk to you about time and how we think about it and how we think of the challenging content in this course. And the second is I want you to think about, I'm going to answer your questions and respond it more in a group to the things that you wrote about the Milgram study and some of the other things we've been doing. So I'm going to share my screen and talk to you first about time. So first off, some students very wonderfully told me that they're thinking that this course requires a lot of time. So I wanted to know more about that. And before I learn more about it from you, which I really want to do, I'm going to just tell you how you probably should think about what you are doing right now. So the topic, time. And let's first talk about the idea of full time. So if you are a full-time at a job in the USA, 40 hours a week. If you are full-time in elementary school, you're probably going about 7 hours a day. So you're probably going 30 hours a week. And then you do some work at home. Did I say that right now? Yeah, 7 hours, 35 hours a week. That's more like it. And you do a little bit at home each day. When you're in high school, the day is about the same length, but you get a couple study halls. So let's say that you do, let's say that your classwork overall is taking you 30 hours a week. Maybe you have 1 hour a day in study hall where you to do independent work. And then you probably have another 5 hours at home. So full-time, right? We're getting these totals of 40 hours a week. So equals 40 equals 40. When you get to college, you generally have like 1 hour a week per credit in the classroom, right? So you're in the classroom a lot less time. So why is that? Is that because you are supposed to, let's just write this down, less time in classroom. And let's write why. And is it because you're supposed to learn less? And the answer to that is no. You're supposed to learn more. And so why less time in the classroom? It's because you are now independent learners. You can do a lot on your own. And this is where students get, I think, a little muddled because they take the paradigm from elementary school and high school, which is like attend class and pass. But college isn't like that. And now we don't even have like classes to attend when they're online. And so how is this all supposed to work? Well, in some classes, it works like this. You can spend very little time because all you're doing is looking up answers in your textbook or even just Googling to pass tests, right? It's not that easy. You have to look a lot of stuff up, you know, and it's possible along the way you're learning something, you know, and so you pass with very few hours. And dare I say that extrapolates to very little learning. And what happens is the professors who teach that way get very, very popular. And students like this. and students enroll. But in my perspective, we can put a dark cast on this. And I would offer that in classes like that, students are cheated. The students in the class are cheated. In class, those who take the class, cheated because they're not learning what they're supposed to learn. They're just getting a little surface skimming and they're getting grades from it. Some of them cheated because not much learning. The other students are cheated because their good grade, their, let's say A or B, represents hard work, whereas students A, B in a no work class means nothing, means less, I should say. Now, is this always the case? No. Some students learn in these classes because they're hardworking and they want to learn. Others skim by, get a piece of paper that says they have a degree, but they don't know what they should know. About their topic. All right. And this is the conundrum, right? Every instructor has to balance. Do we make the students happy? Because it's easy. Here's our happy student. Versus, whoops, moved some text there. Versus students learn through work. And they're maybe a little stressed and less happy because they've planned on all these kinds of classes where they only have to devote a couple hours a week. And so this is what every single professor you have has to contemplate. And some of them prefer, some professors, and this is just fine, we need a balance of things. Some professors go with the model of students happy. All right, they put all their emphasis on keeping the students happy, keeping enrollment up, and so the learning suffers. Other professors make you work really hard, but not many students enroll, and the ones who do learn a lot. All right, and gosh, it's a hard balance, you guys. Someday when you're professors, which I hope many of you are, you might be struggling with this as well. So this is the conundrum that I deal with. So what I try to do then is, first off, I honor what it means to be a full-time student. So a full-time student means at the college level, for a 3-credit class, you're going to have 3 credit. This is start with a 3 credit, which is most classes. You are going to have 3 50-minute class sessions per week, or 2 class sessions a week that are an hour and 15 minutes. Either way, it totals up to 150 minutes in class. The rule of thumb then to make this 40 hours work is that each student, let's put it in this big box down here, maybe in green so we can see it. The rule of thumb that makes the 40 hours a week work is 2 hours outside of class for every 1 hour in class, 2 to 1. And so if you spend 150 minutes in class, that means that you need to spend 300 minutes outside class. And that equals 450 minutes or 7.5 hours per week on a 3-credit class. For a 4-credit class, which is what we have, you would typically have, if we had still classroom meetings, you would have 200 hours in class. And if we double that, that's 400, not 4,000 hours outside, which is 600 minutes or 10 hours. So how does this work for being a full-time student? So remember, full-time is 40 hours a week. A full-time load at the college level is 12 to 18 credits. If we take the 40 hours divided by, let's just take the middle number here, 16 credits, that equals 2.5 hours per credit. Once again, if we do the math, we find that for a 3-credit class times 2.5 hours equals 7.5 hours a week on that class. If we take a 4-credit class like ours is, and we multiply it by 2.5 hours, we get 10 hours a week. So what I try for is to make my minutes that I would normally have in the classroom with you, which would be this 200 hours would be normally what I would have in the classroom with you. And I do the far less effective thing, but the only thing that I can do is I take a good deal of time to develop lectures that are approximately 200 minutes a week. I assume that you can do readings and activities equal to 400 minutes once you're done watching the lectures, for a total of 10 hours a week. So the problem that we run into is that some students do this. I'm going to put it in red. Some students. First off, you're working full-time, so you're spending 40 hours on work. You're caring for somebody or many somebodies, caring for family. And can we even put an estimate of time on this? Let's put in another 40 hours. I don't really know. And then you're a full-time student. And so there we have another 40 hours. Now, I don't know how to estimate your caring for family, so I'm not even going to count this in. But if you're working full-time and you're a full-time student, that means you have 80 hours a week just for your school and your work. And so if you divide the 80 hours a week between 7 days, we get approximately 10.2 hours every day. If you're a full-time, that's not counting your caring for family. If you don't want to work on the weekends and you take the 80 hours that you have to devote to being a full-time worker and a full-time student, so let's take your 80 hours and divide it by just 5 days during the week, then you have to work 16 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And this again is not counting care. So that's the question we have to deal with. You guys have a lot of responsibilities. I have a responsibility to teach you, and I want you to learn. I don't want you to get out there and not know what people are talking about, because it's my job to teach it to you. And I want to do my job. I mean, this Germanness in me, it's like, yes, work hard. So I really want you guys to learn this. I had kind of a bachelor degree, finished it at kind of a not that great of a college. And sort of, I felt like I worked, but it didn't seem like it was that challenging. And I didn't realize it till I got to grad school, actually, till I got most of my doc program. And I realized that I hadn't learned the things I needed to know. Like the other students there knew what was going on, and I did not. And that's very uncomfortable. And like many of you, I was a first generation college student. My parents didn't have college degrees. No one still in my family has gone to grad school. So I understand that. But I felt dumb when I got out there. I know you guys don't care about this. I just wanted to tell you that I really want you to learn. I don't want to cheat you out of an education. You can have an education plus a degree to show that you have an education, or you can have a degree, but you haven't gotten much education because your instructors let you get off easy. So I don't know where anyone else falls. We professors have no idea what our fellows are doing in the classroom. We talk about it, but we don't really know. So this is what I believe. I really want you to have an education, not just a degree. So yammer, yammer, yammer. With that said, I still have looked at what I'm asking of you, and I think the content in this class is hard, and it's new to all of you. And I think that I can step it back a little bit, not in terms of the time you need to devote, but in terms of how deeply I need you to know it. I have dog who sees horses outside. So of course she needs to bark. And I think in answer to this question, how much do you need to know? I think at the 200 level, we can take it a little easier. You don't need to go as far as you would if this was a 300 or 400 level course. So I've decided to step it back. So first off, in the future, there's going to be a quiz, as always, same as before, multiple choice. We're not going to try the discussions because students just don't get in there on time, and it's an exercise in frustration. So no discussions. We're going to have applications where you're just going to write the answers to the questions. One of them is always going to relate to your own study. So you're going to be asked to design a study with all these different modalities. And the other is going to be related to the content in general. And so that's what it's going to be henceforth. Now, some students want to do this. They jump onto the Blackboard. I don't know what they actually do, but somehow they skip all the lectures. They skip all the reading. And they go into the assignment and sort of Google the answers. And that's not okay. So, not okay. So I will just add, so when you do the assignment, it goes in this order. 1, watch lectures, take notes, and do the reading. There's not that much. I'm not going to assign research articles now, maybe just short segments of research articles. I would like you to know how to read a research article, but we'll get to that later. Then 2, do assignments. And I'll make a point of saying no outside sources unless asked. So no, don't go into, when I ask you about the Milgram study, don't go into some website and see what they have to say about it and then respond to it. Click on the material that I've provided. That's what I'm looking for in your answer. Don't take a stab at what a conceptual definition means. Just Google it and see what it is. Watch the lectures. I spent a lot of time on them. That's how you learn. That's the equivalent of attending task. Watch the lectures and take notes. You can look at the slides, but you should at least listen to what is said about most of them. You know, I'm not just reading the slides verbatim. I've put a lot of time into this. I can't even begin to tell you how much sleep I've lost preparing for this course. And it's getting better. I feel like I'm delivering the content well, but now it's your job. You've got to watch the lectures. You've got to take notes before you do the assignments. That's how school works. If you can imagine that you were learning how to weave and, you know, you didn't bother to attend the class and then you just took the loom and the pieces and just sort of guessed at it, you wouldn't do that, you know? It's like going to your new job and just starting to work without having been trained on anything. You wouldn't do that. You have to learn before you do the assignments. So that's what I want to ask you to do. And some of you, you know, as well as I do, that you haven't been doing it that way. So, and others of you have been doing just great. And you're working along and starting to develop your understanding of these concepts. So, let me check my notes and see if there's any other super important thing that I need to say to you. Okay, there is one more before I answer your questions. Thanks for your patience. If you're still hanging out on this, that's great. Our assignments are 15 points, the applications. So 90% on a 15-point assignment will equal 14 to 15 points, which is an A. 80%, if you see that you've gotten 12 to 13 points, you can consider that a B. 70%, if you see that you've gotten 11 points, you can consider that a C. 60%, a D, means that you've gotten 9 or 10 points. And 50%, I won't give lower than that, I guess, if you did something, means that you've gotten 7 to 8 points, and you can consider that an F. So what does an A mean? An A means that you really understood the concepts and did the work. And I can see it in your writing. A B means that you did good thinking and the concepts are developing. Maybe you got some of them right and others wrong. C means if you get these 11 points, it means like, well, there's some evidence at a beginning level. If it's a D, this is like a mix of your ideas and web stuff. And an F, it's like all web, no real clue. So that's what the grading means on these 15-point scales. So if there is assignment like that, that's graded on 15 points, look at that. And you can see the lowest grade you're getting is 50%. So I guess even if you submit something, you're going to get 7 points. But as you know, 50% won't pass you in the class. So think about it that way. If you want to get a C, you want to be getting at least these 11s in total for your assignments. And read your feedback. Okay, read your feedback because that helps you understand. If you're a highly motivated student, you got a B and I gave you feedback that said, oh, but you didn't think about this. You can submit your answer again. I'll grade it again and see if you can get an A. I'm open to that. Okay. And I can see if you've read your feedback. And so if you're a student who's never reading your feedback, I'm going to stop giving you feedback because it takes a lot of time for me to give you feedback. So make sure you read it and I'll look and see if you read it. And if you're not bothering to read it, then I won't bother to write it. So we'll work it out that way. All right, that's about all I have to say on this particular topic. And I'm going to post a little discussion because I really would like to hear more from you on this. I mean, I'm old school. You know, I'm a 60-year-old lady and you guys are dealing with a whole different world. And so the more you can help me understand your own perspectives on time and how you're thinking about your degree and these topics and degree with education, a degree where you're just kind of guessing at multiple choice questions. I mean, you know, fill me in. Tell me what you think. I don't think you can offend me. Well, you can if you were really rude to me, but I don't think I'd take offense. And let's have a little discussion about this. Optional, not worth points, but maybe give you a chance to see what your classmates are thinking. All right. Thanks a lot. Have a fun weekend.